Today I'm going to show you how we can make a ceramic mug like this. It's going to be a mug that you can really drink out of and put it in the dishwasher and do anything you'd normally do with the mug. So to start with, you'll get a slab of clay like this, and you'll need 2 rulers. You put the rulers on each side of the clay, and then you put your rolling pin across the top of the clay, and you roll the clay so that you can do 2 things. You're lengthening it this way and you're making it thinner. You want it to be as thin as the rulers, and you want to roll it on both sides. So after you roll it a couple times on one side, turn it over and roll it on the other side. And I'm going to turn it over one last time, and I'm going to do 1 roll without the rulers just to make it a little bit longer. All right. Next, we're going to take a can and we are going to wrap it in a paper towel. So if you have a large paper towel like I do, fold it in half and wrap it around your can. Make sure that it's nice and snug and tape it on. We will be rolling the clay around the can. That will give us the cylinder shape for our mug. So after you roll the clay around the can, it should overlap like this. At that point, you cut through both layers of the clay and you take off the extra. And then we're going to close this together and score it using scratch and attach methods, where you just score both sides with a textured line so that it's rough, so that when you add water and you press these together, the clay will have a good solid join. So dip my fingers in some water and add a little water here, and you can press this with your thumb and kind of try to erase the seam by rubbing it gently to smooth it out. Another thing you can do, you'll probably notice that this is a little bit lumpy right here compared to where it's a little smoother over here. One thing you can do to smooth that out is very, very gently roll it on your tabletop on top of your placemat. If you roll it a lot, this will start to expand and get loose and floppy, so you don't want to roll it a lot. You just roll it once or twice and that's plenty. Now, you're probably noticing this is a little rough around the edges still, so we will be trimming it so that it's nice and straight. And to do that, you place your pin tool into the clay like this, and then you roll it, keeping your pin tool in the same place. And as you roll it, you should be able to go all the way around and cut it off so that it's somewhat even, and do the same thing on the other end. Try to make it as straight across as possible. It's okay if it's a little off, don't panic, but try to make it even. Okay, save all the little scraps that you cut off and roll them into a nice ball to keep them damp so that we can use these later to make the bottom of our mug and our handle. Okay, now we have a pretty nice cylinder here, and it's time to decorate this. We'll be decorating using stamps. You do not have to decorate the surface with stamps, but if you would like to, you can. One thing that I'd like to caution you about is do not carve into the surface of your clay with your pin tool, because a lot of times you carve it too deeply and then it cracks and breaks as it dries. So we will not be carving designs in with our pin tool, but you are free to use stamps to stamp this. If you choose to use a stamp, you kind of rock the stamp across the clay to get the impression, and you can turn your stamp in different directions and cover the entire surface of your clay with the same stamp, or you can use different stamps if you prefer. This works a little bit better if you have a can that is not empty. It works better with a full can because then the can doesn't crumble quite as much. Like you can hear, this one is kind of rattling and crumbling. So if you have a full can, that's ideal. All right, now I have a nice surface design all the way around. I'll just roll it to fluff it out a little. And now we need to make a bottom for this. So to make the bottom, we're going to do a couple things. First, we'll take our extra ball of clay and we will get our trusty rulers and put them on either side of the clay. And we want to roll the clay out so that it is just as thick as we did last time. And we turn it over a couple of times and roll it on each side to make it nice and even so it doesn't warp when it dries. And then when it's about the right size, you can put your cylinder right on top and you can trim the clay to fit. Use your pen tool straight down and try not to cut it at an angle. You want it to be as straight as you can. You can take off your scraps, roll them into a ball and save them because we will save those and use them later to make our handle. And now we want to attach the body of the mug to the bottom. In order to do that, we need to press or push the can a little bit farther inside of the clay cylinder and wrap up our paper towel and push it inside to get it out of the way. We will be using the scratch and attach method. So we'll score all the way around the circle that we just made. And we'll do the same thing here, give it some good scoring. And then we will dab a little bit of water onto that and just put this right on top and press it down gently. You can push this down to the bottom now and press this gently, and then you'll see it's attached, but we have a seam. So in order to close that seam, you can rub the clay across and kind of fill in that tiny little gap and make it nice and smooth so it looks good. You don't want to have any jagged edges, so make it nice and smooth all the way around. And you shouldn't be able to tell that it's attached there. It should just be completely seamless. So rub that across with your finger or thumb, and then it might be a little lumpy, so you can do this technique again where you roll it, but remember not to roll it too much because you don't want it to get loose and floppy. You just roll it once or twice until you have it a little bit more evened out, and that's good. This is a good time to write your name on the bottom, or if you have a special stamp with your initials on it, you can use that now. And the main part of our mug is finished. The next thing we need to do is add our handle. And I'll do a separate video for that. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have fun making your mug. Good luck.